This is the Jake Hoback Knives Summit. It is, to my eye, a beautiful and also really, really well-made and well-designed folder. This one is very out in the open about being made in China. Jake Hoback is, boy, he did a little damage to his reputation because he made claims or didn't refute claims that his folding knives were made in the United States, presumably, in his manufacturing facility. And it ends up that, at least how I heard about it through a number of people on Thursday Night Knives, only his fixed blade knives were being made stateside, and his folders were being made overseas. And he wasn't going out of his way to correct people's misinterpretation of where they were made. I'm sorry, that didn't exactly come out right, but I think you know what I mean. So he's on the hot seat for saying he made knives in the USA, but really they were being made in China. I'm going to set that aside, like I can with other things. Like, my favorite movie of all time is Chinatown, and it's directed by a real creep who directed a lot of other incredible movies, but and I am not comparing Jake Hoback to Roman Polanski, let me just say that. But what I am talking about is separating the art from the artist, and not letting what you know about the individual who created something affect how you judge the creation itself. And as for the creation itself, in this case, I love almost everything about this knife. I like big knives, so I love a big folder, especially big folders not made by Cold Steel. I love big folders made by Cold Steel, but I have them all, or most of them, and it's cool to see other people do big folders. This is a big frame lock, titanium frame lock, and that could be a problem. Big titanium frame locks tend to be heavy. This is quite light and svelte and contoured. A very futuristic looking handle that is incredibly ergonomic and comfortable. Everything is well considered. This little area where your finger wraps around and grips in. The one, and then this big clip, I like the bent clips. This is sort of a sculpted bent clip. It sort of acts like a spring clip, created like a sculpted clip, I guess. I like that little detail. I'm not sure what this is for, actually. To service the pivot, I guess. Haven't taken it apart, not going to. I have to get this out. This is part of the pass around group. Very comfortable. I do like that big pivot. I frequently ask my wife what she thinks of designs, and she said this looks like a Star Trek knife, and I said Klingon. She said no, not Klingon. And then she couldn't remember Cardassian or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, she thought it looked like so to me, I think it looks futuristic too. You read, the Hoback website, and it's kind of like, Jake Hoback's from Utah, and he knows the value of a good knife when climbing a mountain, hence the name Summit. But to me, this doesn't look like a sporting knife at all. I mean, it could be used as such because it's light. It's light, and that blade is big and capable. This blade is actually very nice. It's a pretty, you got a pretty complete distal taper to the blade, so you're losing a lot of weight and material from those sides if you were keeping it bulky. It comes to an incredibly sharp edge. It's a thin edge. This is a really nice cutter, and for me, of course, I always let my imagine go this way, and I think of it in terms of a defensive blade that could be used all the time as an EDC. And I think definitely as an EDC, it's got great point orientation for the kind of cutting a lot of us do a lot of the time, that sort of point driven pull cutting. But also here, it's like this very long run of thin and slicey. But at the tip, due to the swedge and this short clip, it's almost dagger-like at the tip. So great piercing, great tip for cutting, great long, nearly straight but nice enough belly for long cuts through, say, cardboard if you were doing something like that, or rope if you are indeed climbing or whatever, and you have it folded over, and you just want to go through it one time, and you have a lot of length there. That's 4.4 inches, and you got a lot of length there to cut through. So yeah, it could all be used as that, but to me, it's a stylish, futuristic, folding knife. This is a misstep for me. Actually, I have not taken it off, like I said, not my knife, and I just sort of figured out that it could be taken off. And you can move it to accommodate your thumb length or whatever your taste. I think with this deep fuller on both sides, the thumb stud shouldn't even be there. And I especially don't like non-circular thumb stud openers, unless they're thumb discs. Even if you did something like this and put a giant thumb stud on there, I think it'd look cooler. I just have never liked, and a lot of, respectable designers and designers I like have done this sort of thing where instead of a circular thumb stud, it's like a plate or some sort of a wedge. To me, I'm into fullers lately, and this is sort of like a fuller, and it gives you great purchase for spidey flicking, and actually you can slow roll it using different knife. I'm thinking of a different knife now, but I'm sure that let's see, I can pinch it, do that 2-finger pinch and roll it open. Thumb flick it. I could thumb flick it open without the use of this. So I think that's sort of an add-on. It looks kind of all right. It's pretty good for the thumb, especially if you like to put your thumb way forward. It feels nice there. Anodized blue. Nice knife. This I'm not so crazy about. Other than that, I think it's really cool. Good design. I just wish it wasn't $650, man. So this is an out in the open, no, 625. I'm sorry, it's not 650. But this is an out in the open Chinese production from Jake Hoback Knives. And I'm always willing to give people a second chance. I've messed up, made plenty of mistakes in my life. So this looks like a space landing shuttle. Made plenty of mistakes in my life. I'm totally willing to give people a second shot, especially if they're talented in something I like knife design. But $625 for a Chinese-made knife, and I know there are some, and the Chinese knives are incredible, but I feel like $625 is a price you pay when it's made in the United States by the guy who's designing it. That's a $625 American production knife. Now for a Chinese production knife like this, or I should say a Chinese-made American knife like this, for $625, I would want all of this to be outrageously special materials. This is a plain Jane version of this knife, and don't get me wrong, this is the one I would get. I think it's beautiful, but I don't think it's $625 beautiful. Plus, I am no businessman. Certainly, I'm not Jake Hoback or his business partners and such. They know what they're doing to some extent, but to me, if you're trying to sell people on large bladed knives, which most people are not like me. Most people are not excited about carrying around a big knife like this. You might want to make it so that it's not in this unreachable price point, $625. I mean, for $625, I want something much more special than this. All that being said, I love it, and I love this blade. I'm really impressed by this blade. It's so thin and pointy and stabby and sharp, and it's just nice. It's a nice blade, and I like the orientation to the handle. Very nice design. Okay, so let me show it off with some other knives. Here's one that I paid $6.25 for and felt good about it. This is the American made. It's made in Ohio, so of course it has an extra special place in my heart. But the Rick Hinderer knives XM24. This is a different generation, 4th generation maybe. I don't know. Pre tri-way pivot, but still has awesome action on the nylon washers. It's like, it almost feels like washers. Or I'm sorry, it does feel like washers, but it almost feels like bearings. It's so smooth. So yeah, big knife, but not quite as big as this Summit here. Here, let me line up the blades on this fat line here. Okay, yep. Next is the Sandstorm by Max Ace. This is about the same size. Look at that. Yeah, it's about the same size. Same size blade anyway. A little longer on the handle here. This handle is so comfortable, actually, on this Hoback here. I love this area here. I don't know. It feels really good in this saber grip. Feels good in this Filipino grip too. Reverse grip, not really. It's for me, I don't know, not as much. It's okay, but I think the longer folders don't feel as good in reverse grip to me as shorter folders. Okay, a couple of other big knives to compare it to. Oh, see, damn this thing. This stupid extra lock. I don't need that. This is my safety. Here, right here. Bastinelli, this is the big Dragotac. Sorry about that. Big Dragotac is a big knife, to be sure. A little bit bigger. Let's see. And then the Fox MK Ultra, still a little bit smaller. This is a big damn knife. Here, let me show it to you with just as a size comparison. My standard size comparison knives. There's the PM2. If you think the PM2 is a big knife or a medium-sized knife, yeah, this is a large knife. And there it is with the Hogue Ritter Mini. So definitely a big chunker. And I didn't use it, but with paper. But you can tell, like, to me, I was really impressed with how very little it took to tip slash with this thing, and also just to penetrate with it. Here, I have a receipt. Yeah, this one. I mean, just barely touch it, and it's tearing this incredibly thin. So it's hard to do when I'm looking in a viewfinder. Very sharp. Very sharp tip, and I have no doubt this would be a great penetrator. All right, I don't want to end on that note, but I will. Thanks for watching.